Welcome to the Poptimist. Today we have producer of the show, Taylor Millhouse.
Thank
Miller.
you for having me.
Of course, dude. Did you hear that they're banning all the vapes now?
Yeah, I think it's kind of wild that we can fight for our country and literally go to war, but we're not allowed to buy vapes. It's kind of weird.
Well, it's like a two-phase thing because their first thing they did was they raised the smoking age to 21.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy if you think about it. It just seems like it happened like that. And then they're banning all the flavored vapes now.
Yeah.
So this shit, like all these vape tanks and like the Fruity Pebbles and all that shit's about to be outlawed.
It's pretty crazy. I mean, my parents tell me that they remember when the smoking age was 16.
It was 16?
It was 16 at one point in American history.
I wonder when that was.
Which is crazy.
Can you Google that?
Yeah, I could definitely Google that.
We're going to ban all vapes. We're going to ban all flavored vapes. We're going to bring the smoking age up to 21. Yeah, dude. I don't know how I feel about the government necessarily having a say in that. I don't think that's something that the government should handle. And in fact, Trump talks a lot about like getting the government out of people's personal lives and out of their business, and this is something where he's directly going against that. Which, is it good? Is it bad? I don't know.
I mean, I feel like I understand what they're doing. They're trying to keep teenagers from smoking.
It's an epidemic with teenagers, dude.
Well,
Teenagers drool a lot,
yeah,
bro.
yeah. Well, especially high schoolers.
Yeah.
You know, when high schoolers can give 16-year-olds
Yeah.
tobacco products, that's probably not. I mean, I understand how that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of like a limiting freedoms type thing.
They're
too.
going to do it no matter what,
Well,
though.
yeah.
That's the thing. It's like the drinking age is also 21, but guess what?
Yeah.
There's kids getting
Yeah.
drunk all the time.
Absolutely.
They're going to figure out how to do it.
I mean, people buy guns illegally too. No matter what you do to
Yeah.
restrict laws, if you want something, you can get it.
Yeah, I don't know how good it's actually going to do banning the vapes. I get why they're trying to do it, but I don't know if I necessarily agree with it.
Yeah, I don't really agree with it. I think that it should be across the board age-wise.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it should be like 18 to vote, but 21 to smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird.
Well, it's like 18 to go. You can go to the fucking military and,
Yeah.
and all that stuff,
Actually,
too.
you can go at 17. You can
With
go at 17
parental
with
permission,
with
right?
parents' consent. Oh, by the way, so prior to 1991, the minimum age to purchase tobacco products was 16.
Wow. I did not know that.
Then in 2000 was raised from 16 to 18. So right when I was born,
I did not know that.
that's pretty crazy.
So it was like if you were 16 in the 90s, you could buy cigarettes then.
Yeah. Which is kind of nuts.
I wonder if that actually does cut down on kids smoking. I imagine it does, and that's why they did it, just because of easy access.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, but as far as like tobacco products go, I mean, I think there's a huge difference between buying cigarettes and buying alcohol. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that.
So I would be okay if they just kept it with 18 and then 21 for alcohol. I think that's pretty reasonable.
What do you think when marijuana gets legalized, what should be the age for that?
Oh, I definitely think it should be 18. I definitely should.
Your own personal bias.
that's definitely really biased, but I definitely think it should be 18 because there's a lot of teenagers with anxiety,
Sure.
and I feel like I don't know.
I
I bought CBD the other day.
Yes, you did. Yeah. I don't know if the weed age should be because honestly, I started smoking when I was 19. So I have a hard time like trying to criticize it when that's something that I did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it would
yeah,
be a
yeah.
little bit hypocritical for me to say 18-year-olds who shouldn't smoke weed.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it should be 18. Or maybe they should do the, across the board 21 for everything. Because that's kind of when your mind fully develops, they say, in psychological studies.
Yeah, there's some of that. I think the other thing that I read, it's like for dudes at least, your brain's not fully formed until you're 25.
Yeah. I guarantee, and I'm calling this now, that when weed gets legalized across the board, it will be 21. because they don't want high schoolers to get a hold of it.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see it being 21.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, 95% of high schoolers are probably smoking weed right now as we speak.
Literally in my hometown, that's definitely a thing that's going on for sure.
Where are you from originally?
I'm from a small town on the border of Kentucky called Logan County, West Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty small town. Yeah.
What's it like there?
Well, we have 3 red lights, a few crosswalks, stuff like that. Just real small. We don't have a lot of big chain restaurants in the town.
Is there a McDonald's?
No, not in the city. No, we have a Wendy's.
Okay.
Which is
Walmart?
Mm-mm. No, we have a Town and Country, or it used to be a Piggly Wiggly back when, a while back, which was cool. Growing up there, I could literally walk to my high school, and so I would walk to school every day, walk to and from school. It was pretty cool, But it wasn't it's so much different than living in a big city like Nashville, where I don't feel safe walking outside as often.
Really?
No, to me it's wild. It's wild. Working near Broadway, right in that Walk of Fame area is just so dangerous now, to me at least.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in my hometown it was nothing to walk outside at 3 a.m, walk down the road, or go wherever.
Yeah.
It's very different. It's a different cultural world too, as well.
How so?
There's just so many people with so many different beliefs and so many different people. It's really cool though. You get to meet a lot of interesting people for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas back home, I don't know. It's all, I don't know how to put it. They're all basically the same. Everybody believes the same thing almost. Whereas
small town mentality.
Small town mentality is what it definitely is.
Mm-hmm.
And here it's just, you get to meet a lot of different people with a lot of different beliefs. It's super cool.
We were talking about that last night because it's everybody that we kind of run with, all of our different friends, they're all from different places.
Yeah. There's not a lot of native Nashville people.
There's very few.
It's a lot of transplant people. That's what they call it.
I have a couple of friends that are native Nashville people, like my friend Matt Levine and my other friend John Morgano that I first started when I moved to Nashville. I worked with them, and they grew up here in Nashville, and Emma's from Nashville.
Oh, is she? I didn't know that. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, so she'll talk about how much it's changed, and it's interesting to hear, dude. I remember I came here when I was a kid, because my aunt has lived here for 30-something years. So there's a few times where I came, and we went down to Broadway, and I remember there was a merry-go-round at the end of Broadway.
First and Broadway?
Right on First and Broadway, yeah. It was right at the end.
By
right
Hard
on the
Rock
river.
Cafe?
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
I don't know if Hard Rock was there yet.
Yeah.
I can't remember too much from it because I was pretty young. But we went inside this bar, and it was a NASCAR bar. And they had a giant, actual, real NASCAR stock car.
Oh, cool.
In the restaurant. I think we got nachos or something.
I've heard that Broadway back in the day used to be a bunch of strip clubs.
Yeah, well, it was used to be a lot more dangerous.
Yeah, I heard that it used to be pretty raunchy.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, we have a place like that where I live too, the same type of thing, but it's Broadway if it hadn't never turned to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, does Emma talk shit about so many people moving here? Because a lot of natives talk, a lot of shit about a lot of people moving here.
I've heard a mixed bag as far as that goes with some of the natives. I haven't heard Emma talk shit about it.
Mm.
A lot of the natives, the people that have grown up here, they really like that Nashville is growing and that it's a cool place to be now. They're very proud of it, which I think is cool. There's this Southern hospitality vibe in Nashville for sure, where it's welcoming. Even if you come to this city for just the weekend, you're a Nashvilleian.
Yeah.
Just for the weekend.
Yeah. If you go to one Preds game, You're a Predators fan.
Yeah.
Like I got that vibe the moment I walked in there to watch my first Predators game.
Those games are fun, dude.
They're really fun. Like the vibe.
Electric atmosphere.
Yeah, the atmosphere is just unreal. Even if they're losing, the atmosphere is still, it's still really good, and it's pretty awesome.
The music's always good there too.
Yeah, Bridgestone was like amazing my first time going there.
Yeah.
It was like, it was my second month living in this house, and I went to Bridgestone.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
How long have you been in Nashville for now?
Next month makes 1 year, which is
Wow.
super awesome.
And you've been living here for about 6 months.
I have. Yeah, it's been awesome. I love living in East Nashville. Before I lived in East Nashville, in Inglewood, I lived in Mount Juliet, which it's very different. It's very different. But it's still really congested.
Mount Juliet?
Yeah, there's a lot of people there.
There is. Mount Juliet's a pretty nice place. I like it. I like the kind of the suburban vibe. I like being outside of the city a little bit. It feels more like normal life out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, the difference between Mount Juliet and Inglewood for me is I could walk into the Walmart there, because they have a Walmart right there where I lived. I lived super close to it. And it was like tons of older folks and like married couples and
families.
like with kids and stuff. And then I walk into ours and it's all people my age.
Yeah.
It's all like younger people. Like it's, 20-year-olds.
That was one of the shocking things for me when I first moved to Nashville from Maine. I came here on a trip beforehand just to come check it out for a job interview, all that shit. And I saw Tame Impala at the Ryman.
Oh, wow.
And that was my first show in Nashville. And I was really, really shocked by it because it was all people in their 20s. And I'd never really been much around that. When I lived in Colorado a little bit, it was like that. But Nashville just had a different energy. Everybody was young. And I was shocked by that because the median age in Maine, there's an actual stat where it's like it flip-flops back and forth between Maine, I think Vermont, and New Hampshire as the oldest, whitest states in the country.
Yeah. How old were you when you seen Tame Impala at the Ryman?
I was probably, I moved to Nashville 4 years ago, and it was like 1 or 2 months before I moved here. So I was I'm 28 now. So I was like probably like 23 or 24 because it was before my birthday.
My first trip to Nashville was when I was 12 years old. 2012, I took a bus tour here with it was one of those like retirement bus tours where a bunch of old people get on the bus and they take them around. Well, I did that with my grandma one summer.
Nice.
And it was super fun. I don't remember it looking anything like this though. I don't remember it at all.
It's very metro now.
Yeah, it wasn't. We were after the country music hotspots, so we went to the Grand Ole Opry, which didn't have nowhere near as big of a gift shop and like touristy stuff at the time.
The actual Grand Ole Opry or the Ryman?
No, the Grand Ole Opry.
Okay.
We went to which is really close to us.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know.
Yeah.
But we went to like Opry Mills and stuff because that was there. I think in 2012. Yeah. It may have just opened or it may not have opened yet because I remember something. And we went to it was like the world's longest flea market, which is like near Nashville. It's like do you know what I'm talking about?
No,
Dude, there's a huge flea market in like Tennessee. It's like the world's biggest or something like that. That's what they call it. It's probably not the world's biggest, but
interesting.
It's ginormous and it's like a mile long.
Where is it?
I don't remember. It's like close enough to here. It's like 30 minutes away.
Okay.
But
it's a little bit outside of the city.
Yeah, I remember my grandma giving me $100 and telling me to go wild, and I bought like Johnny Cash Collector's Knife Edition, like stuff like that.
Shit
like,
you buy when you're 12.
Yeah, like knives and stuff because I thought it was cool. And I bought like the funniest thing I bought was a John Wayne flask at like 12 years old.
John Wayne's not PC anymore, dude.
No, he's not. Not at all. But yeah, that was like one of my favorite childhood memories. That in Branson, Missouri.
Branson, Missouri. What's there?
Oh wow, dude, Branson, Missouri is like, it's like you go into that town and there's just tons of like venues, and that's like mostly what's it there. It's like all country, old country stars that used to be in Nashville have their own theaters there.
Really?
Yeah, and they have other artists play. I remember getting to see Mickey Gilley, Mel Tillis, and just a bunch of different like old country
Yeah.
stars. And it was super cool, but it was kind of depressing because you'd go to some of those theaters and go buy a ticket. It was super cheap for one, and you go in there and it's like the crowd's not even half full while you're watching the show. But these stars are like super old.
It's like a mini Nashville.
Yeah, it's like a mini Nashville, but it was popping when I went there. It was
Interesting.
cool. Got to stop through St. Louis on the same bus tour.
Speaking of old country, on Dickerson Road, did you know that there's an old hotel? They just it's the Dive Motel. They just redid it. I guess it was the first place that Hank Williams stayed when he first got to Nashville.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Mhm.
That's pretty awesome.
So they made it into kind of like a trendy place, I guess, and fixed it up and all of that. And I went there. I dropped someone off driving for Uber and Lyft for the opening of it. And when I was there, I was dropping the dude off, and he's like, "That's Jack White in his Tesla. He's pulling out." And I turn around, and there's just like a Tesla speeding off.
Oh wow, dude, that's
It
awesome.
was Uncle Jack, dude.
Dude, that's crazy. That's pretty awesome. Did you know that? I'm pretty sure Hank Williams died in West Virginia.
Really?
Yeah, I might be wrong on that, but I'm like very sure he did.
I don't know that much about his story.
I know that he was a very hard alcoholic.
Yeah, I know that.
I mean, everybody knows that.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure he died in the back of a car in West Virginia. I can Google
Interesting.
that, but I'm like very sure of it.
Yeah.
That's like something everybody back home talks about. Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, I'm super happy to be here. I'm very thankful that I've got the opportunity to move to Nashville because there's just so much going on at one time. It's the bigger city life, and it's cool to see everything that I grew up on. Country music wise, non-country music wise, it's just all coming here, and it's
Mhm.
just awesome.
There's such a healthy music scene here.
Oh,
I,
yeah.
I remember my first 6 months here. It was just like, I'm not even a drinker, but I was drinking a lot. Just because it was the culture, I mean, my job when I first got here, on Fridays they would literally pass out beers
That's wild.
the last hour of
That's
work.
weird.
It is weird. It was like a frat though.
Yeah,
that's what the job was. It was like a bunch of frat bros. I'm really grateful that I did it because I just realized what I don't
What
want
you
out of
don't
life.
want.
Because it was like a corporate job and all that shit. But
Oh,
yeah,
gross.
it was a lot of getting drunk and not really knowing many musicians. Because when you first get here, you don't really know anyone.
Yeah.
and no one knows you, so they don't want to work with you.
Well, it's almost like alcoholism is supported in Nashville. Like
Definitely.
they support your alcoholism. They
Mm-hmm.
support your bad choices. They want you to do stupid stuff.
There's a heavy alcohol culture here.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think, of course, right down the road in Lynchburg is where Jack Daniels is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that at all.
Yeah. I think it's like maybe 45 minutes or an hour outside of Nashville.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I've been to Lynchburg with the company I work for.
Mm-hmm.
We did an event there. But that's awesome. Dude, there's so much drinking here. Like, I just thought it was crazy that, I walked into a donut shop the other day, and there's a full bar in the donut shop, and I'm like, I just walked in here for donuts. Like, that's not... And our movie theaters even have bars. You don't see that in West Virginia. Or you don't see that, like, anywhere small town. That's almost like... The drinking views is very different in Nashville than, like, small town. If you drink in, like, small town, people think stuff about you.
Really?
Yeah, it's still like that.
It's not like that back where I'm from. You can go into the grocery store in Maine and they have liquor aisles.
Yeah, well, they have that too, but it's like If you see your preacher from church while you're in the Walmart and you got like cases of beer in your cart, people think stuff. It's different. That just depends on where you're at, though.
Yeah.
Like people still party a lot.
Yeah.
In the hills.
When I was 19, I worked at a grocery store called Shaw's in Freeport, Maine, and it was one town below where I'm from, which is Brunswick. And I was a bottle clerk. I was a cashier. I worked in the produce department. Yeah. I did a bunch of different things. And as a bottle clerk, people in Maine, it's like state law, you have to recycle. Mm-hmm. So whenever you buy soda, whenever you buy alcohol, beer, anything like that, you have to pay like a 5-cent or a 10-cent tax per bottle.
Really?
And then you bring it back to the store, and they have these machines that you put them in. And whatever the machines don't take, there has to be someone there who actually scans it and enters it into the computer. And they have this giant machine for glass bottles, and you have to take out the glass bottles and put them in the machine. You have to put on these protective goggles and all this shit. So I'll never forget the smell. That's the one thing I'll always remember from that time period of my life is that smell.
Yeah.
Of sticky, like, that sticky smell?
Yeah,
like of booze and soda and beer and all this shit. And you just put it into the machine and it breaks it down. And you do it by color, too. And there are these giant barrels and you have to snap on the lids.
Yeah.
And you had to bring it out back, and someone would come and pick it up, like giant trucks.
Oh, wow.
So it was like a big thing.
I've never heard of that, ever.
It's a big thing in Maine. Like, recycling is huge, which, honestly, we need to start recycling.
Yeah.
I think that's something we should do.
Yeah, I definitely think so. No one does that in West Virginia. Or, well, no, I'm not going to say nobody does it in West Virginia. Nobody did it in my small hometown because the nearest recycling plant that you could take your aluminum cans or whatever you're recycling to is like 45 minutes to an hour away.
Yeah.
So it's like, nobody did it. And it's kind of bad. A lot of people burn garbage there. It's just terrible. It's just terrible. Wow, I didn't know that. I do have, so a few months back I worked for a trash company.
Yeah.
And like they paid the best out of everybody I've worked for.
I bet.
But dude, I could not, where I picked up stuff for like the festivals, dude, I could not get past that smell of booze, dude. It's like garbage.
So
it's like
you
garbage.
smelled that smell.
Garbage mixed with booze is exactly what it was, dude. Just like the worst smell.
It was just rank and also sticky.
Yeah, it was awful.
Because that alcohol smell, it's like sticky and sweet. Like, I can almost feel it on my hands.
Yeah,
like,
and then you have, like, bar food mixed into, like, the trash. It was just terrible.
All this fried shit.
Oh, yeah. And the people, like, at these big festivals, they'll lay out these things to where you can recycle and you can put trash in them. But, like, by the end of it, the people are so drunk, they're just shoving shit in there.
They don't give a fuck.
Yeah. So, it was the worst smell ever. Easily.
Speaking of drunk people, have you seen Broadway Uncensored?
Oh yeah, they shut the first page down.
Why did they shut it down?
Because Instagram is soft. It's what it is now, man. It's. I mean, I kind of understand a little bit because there was some pretty terrible things on there, but
people get crazy when they come to Nashville.
Oh yeah, I mean,
it's a party town.
It is, and you have to expect that when you come here now. Like Yeah, they have the second page though, Broadway Uncensored 2.
Yeah, I started following them.
Yeah, it's the same dude that runs it. But yeah, I love that page. I have the notifications turned on for it.
Yeah.
So I see it. There's a lot of good Nashville pages though.
Music Shitty.
Music Shitty's a good one. I love that one. They make fun of of the things going, like road work and stuff. It's pretty funny. Nashville Eats is probably another one I like.
I don't follow them.
You should definitely follow them if you want to find like good like mom and pop food.
Yeah.
It's not like chain.
Yeah.
Or like all the restaurants that are locally. Like, and then they post good pictures of it too. So it's pretty good if you want to find new restaurants.
Yeah, I'm definitely down. One thing that I've been doing so far in 2020 is I haven't had any fried food.
Yeah,
We've been talking about that a
that's
little
a
bit.
that's a hard thing to do in Nashville.
Everything's fucking fried and barbecued.
Yeah, I mean Nashville hot chicken, like that's you got to cut out all the hot chickens and
It's been crazy so far. Just because I realized how much fast food I was eating because I was just going for whatever was quick.
yeah.
So that's the biggest difference I've noticed is that I haven't been spending as much money.
How do you feel?
I feel okay.
Do you feel better or worse?
I guess I feel better, like 10% better. Because the other thing is, I will say this. I will completely disclose my pizza intake has gone up. So I'm still eating pizza and I'm also eating subs and stuff like that. I figured this would be a good first step just to try. I think
Yeah.
the next thing I'm probably going to try to do is cut out processed sugar.
Yeah.
But I'm doing like one thing at a time. Once I can prove to myself I can do one thing, it's like a mind thing, you know?
Yeah. We as like Americans eat so much processed food. Everything we eat is processed.
Well, it's a first world problem. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like we have the ability to feed everybody, but we're feeding everybody garbage.
Yeah, we're literally killing ourselves.
Yeah.
Slowly. Like, and it's an awful thing. I feel the same way about fried foods, but it's just like processed foods in general are just so bad. That's why I'd like to like go like eat clean because it just makes you feel so much better.
It really does. I
It's
definitely
expensive.
notice a difference.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, like eating vegan is so expensive. You can eat clean. You can eat fresh vegetables, but actually like cooking meals and stuff and getting all those things together, it's time consuming, which is a lazy excuse.
It is.
But it's also expensive too. At the end of the day, you can buy a meal from a fast food restaurant almost cheaper than you can cook something like that.
It's cheap and time efficient.
Yeah, and that's why people do it. And I feel like if we made those things less, I don't know, if we made them less convenient, almost, America's health would be, greatly benefited for sure. If we made vegetables cheaper and stuff, I feel like that'd be more farmers markets.
Yeah.
But that also goes into like more jobs and like boosting stuff like that.
I feel like we're heading towards that. The one thing I think I personally struggle with, which I bet this is something that other people struggle with too, is all the information that's out there. You don't know what's actually true and what's actually right.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many YouTube videos I've watched on health and fitness. And like I'll try it and I'll do these big fad diets,
Everything contradicts.
Everything does. I'll hear the same argument but in a different way from like 3 different people, and like they'll argue different things, and I never know what's right. And there's some sources on the internet that I've found that that are pretty reliable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm subscribed to them on YouTube because I consider them pretty reliable. As far as but who knows? They might be wrong. We really don't know anything about our bodies and about like that kind of stuff.
There's just I think a giant mystery around it. There's people out there I bet who do have a better understanding than us.
Yeah.
A couple of musicians. But doctors, people like that. But even think about 30 or 40 years ago, longer than that, smoking they said it was good for your health. And it was a good way to lose weight.
Yeah.
Women smoked when they were pregnant.
I mean, smoking scientifically does help you lose weight.
Yeah,
but it
destroys your body.
Terrible thing. Like you shouldn't do it. Like it's awful.
Heroin probably helps you lose weight too.
Probably, like yeah. But there's so much. Like if you go back to the 80s and like 70s and you look at some of the laws, like some things that were just socially accepted, it's just crazy.
We don't know. We don't really know anything. It's like we're working through this, whatever this human experience is, and America's almost like it's really a country that's just an experiment.
Yeah, we're a baby country.
We are.
We are so small.
We're new.
It's crazy though, because everybody, I feel like if you go back 200 years or 100 years, the views are just so much different. The ethic was different.
Dude,
it's
yeah.
wild.
I mean, how old is America now? So 1776. I can't do math, bro.
Yeah.
So
1876 is 100 years.
So
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's 100 years.
1976,
200 years.
200 years. Yeah, so we're on like 200 and something years.
Yeah.
I'm bad.
No, you're good. I'm bad too. Yeah, it's just it's new.
Yeah, we're a new country compared to like, England and all those other places, in Europe. They're so much older and they have such a rich history.
Definitely.
And our founding fathers had so much different plans, I feel.
Yeah, dude. I think that's really the beautiful thing about America, because it's like it's so far away from
Yeah.
what it was.
It's its own thing.
It's its own thing, but I think the doctrine and like truly the Constitution needs to be the letter of the law to America.
Yeah. I feel like, you can be whatever you want here.
You can.
And a lot of people take that for granted.
I think they do too. The other thing I think is happening now is America, we've gotten so used to being number one,
Yeah.
at least in the average American's eyes.
Yeah.
It's like we are the superpower of the world.
Yeah, we're very cocky about it too.
We're very cocky about it. Everybody does come to us in the world when something starts going down, and they're like, we need your military.
Isn't that interesting? That we're the baby country and they do that. I don't understand that almost. It
Well-
seems like any world problems, America's like either right in the middle of it or like about to like nudge into it.
And I honestly don't like that. That's
don't-
one of my least favorite things about America. We need to stop fucking with the Middle East. We need to just get the fuck out of there and leave it alone.
Yeah, they're fighting each other. They don't want any part in
Yes.
us. But like, you never hear anything about other countries doing shit like Sweden. Like, I don't know. Like,
They're neutral, dude.
Yeah, you
They're
never-
like, we're out of this.
you
We don't
never
want
hear
any part of
anything
it.
about that, and like, I think it's so interesting that we're always like the problem child.
Definitely, yeah. I don't know what the answer is to that. Like, the one thing I will say that I don't like right now is that the average American, I feel like they don't have say in what's going on, and the people that are elected do not represent us.
I feel like a lot of people aren't educated about what's going on, truly.
Yeah.
Like, factually. I feel like they are told something from birth.
You're 100% correct about that.
The people are told something from birth, depending on where they're raised, and they go about believing that. And,
Yeah.
like, I'm a very stubborn person, and sometimes I'll get it in my head that I think something is the way it is, but it's actually not.
Sure.
And then I'll get my eyes opened, and I feel like there's so many stubborn people in the United States that it's
That's an
hard.
American quality and an American trait.
It is. It's very interesting, though. I actually watched a comedian that talked about this the other night. So he was talking about how, where he's from, he came to America and heard American arguments, and how it's very normal for American arguments to lead up to someone potentially talking about the other person's mother. And he was like, where I'm from, that wouldn't fly. We wouldn't know what you're talking about. We'd be like, how do you know her? And I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, like, that just goes to show, like, we're very different people. And there's like, English language has even changed so much.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different meanings, so many different words now. It's if I was trying to learn English, I wouldn't know where to begin.
Yeah. It's like 3 languages in one.
Yeah.
Words have multiple meanings.
Yeah, it's like hello. I don't even say hello anymore almost.
Yeah.
I'll say, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Or, like, it's different.
It is different.
It's crazy. Because, people from other countries, how do they expect to be able to, learn all this different lingo that we come up with every day? It changes
especially
every day.
because of the internet now.
Yeah, it changes so much, and that's the reason it changes, solely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was talking to someone recently, was a minister, and she was talking about how she was writing this book about the Tower of Babel. Do you know that Bible story?
Yeah, I know it's, somewhat, yeah, I know it pretty well.
Well, basically, and I might fuck this up, so just correct me if I get it wrong. But basically, the Tower of Babel, it was like God built this tower,
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
and because of that, like, all these languages got spoken, and people weren't able to communicate with each other. And it's now with the internet, though, the internet is like a universal language. We can communicate with people that are in Hong Kong. We can communicate with people that are in France.
So the way that story goes is, at the time there was a bunch of people, and like this may not even be 100% right, but I'm very sure like this is how it goes. So at the time there were a bunch of people, and they wanted to build a tower that would go all the way up to the heavens because they didn't know physics. And and they were like,
They didn't know about DMT yet.
we're gonna build this tower. And so they tried to do it, and God was like, no, this is a terrible idea. So he makes them all speak different languages so they can't communicate. And in the Bible, that's how we get all the different languages.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I knew it was something along those lines, but I couldn't remember what it was.
Yeah, but I think it's very funny that they were all like determined that they just wanted to build that tower.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like the cell phone or the internet is the tower now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, truly, because we're able to communicate, Google Translate, we can tell anybody what we want to tell them.
Yeah.
We can talk to almost anyone.
We can figure it out. It's not perfect yet. I think one day it will be.
There's still language barriers.
There's still language barriers, but now it makes it possible for the people of the world to unite.
Yeah. I feel like the English language will forever change. So it will, if we would come up with technology that, we'd be able to talk to anyone with, it'd have to like continuously adapt to how we're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
I just wonder if other languages change.
I imagine
I really
so.
don't know that. But like, does that language adapt, or
Well,
do they change? Do they?
I know a little bit about that. Like I used to work with a woman who was Dominican, and she was teaching me a little bit of Spanish because an apartment community I worked at, it was 90% Hispanic. So she was teaching me a few things, and she was saying there's different slang in different countries.
Yeah.
Like a word in the Dominican Republic, that slang might be an insult, but in Mexico it's a term of endearment.
Oh wow.
Which is kind of similar to the way, because America is also a very big country with a lot of different regions and a lot of different views on life. Like the coasts are very different from each other, and then the South is different from like the Northwest. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of different belief systems.
Yeah, definitely. I have an aunt who lives in Florida. She lives in like southern Florida, and she said the dominant language in the area is mostly Spanish now.
Yeah.
Where she lives, like
South Florida?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she said it's mostly.
That's where my sister lives.
Oh, really?
I was born down there.
Really?
Mm-hmm. That's where I was born. I was born in Boynton Beach.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think it's not southern Florida, but she lives in Gainesville now.
Okay.
I
So
have a friend-
that's like I think northern Florida.
Yeah. Well, her son lives in Orlando.
Okay. Central
Uh,
Florida.
Yeah. But they're like from southern Florida, like down there. They lived there at some point.
Florida's a fascinating place.
Dude, Florida's crazy, man.
Florida. So I moved away from there when I was 11 because my dad was in the Navy, and that's when I moved up to Maine. Like I grew up in Maine. I don't have a lot of fond memories of Florida.
Yeah.
It was just like a lot of bad shit in my childhood down there. But Florida, South Florida, is a really cool place, but it's also a very scary place because it's people. It's like a very angry place.
Really?
Yeah, it's very angry. I think it has to do with the heat.
Dude, I was about to say that. I was literally about to say that Florida to me is just so smothering. Dude, I feel like I'm constantly being strangled by the heat there. And it's wild, dude. You can be there in like December and January and it's like hot there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's a cultural place, though. There's any food that you can imagine from around the world is in South Florida. That's
Really?
one of the cool things about it.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think my aunt still lives in Florida. She still lives in Gainesville.
Yeah.
But when I went down there,
That's where Tom Petty's from.
Nuh-uh.
I think so.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Tom Petty, and I think also maybe like the Allman Brothers. Don Felder was there. He gave Tom Petty guitar lessons when he was a kid.
Dude, that's awesome. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It has a musical history to it.
I didn't know Gainesville had a musical history. I flew into their airport, and there's like two 2 terminals or whatever, and like I flew in there on like a cargo ship that was like it was small plane.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a swamp, dude. The whole place.
Oh wow. Is southern Florida mostly swamp?
Well, there's the Everglades that are down there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like a lot of it's just super swampy.
Yeah. I've been to Florida like a handful of times. I went to Disneyland when I was like a kid, or Disney World, or whichever one's
Disney
down.
World.
Is it Disney World?
Mhm.
Yeah, Disneyland's in California.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to Disney World when I was like a child, which was super cool.
Yeah, I've been a few times.
I don't remember it mostly. I remember some stuff, but I was like, they take you there when you're a baby.
Yeah.
So you don't remember it, and I don't understand that.
I feel like 5 and up is a good age for Disney.
Yeah,
Because
I
you
feel
can
like-
actually remember it.
I feel like if I was going to take my child, if I had a child, I would want to take him at like 8 years old.
Yeah.
Right in like the good part of the childhood.
Yeah.
8 to 12.
You want to do some news?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me pull up some stuff.
Cool.
Okay. We'll start with this one because I thought it was probably the most interesting.
Yeah.
Space Force Bible blessing at National Cathedral sparks outrage.
Well, why are they? Who's outraged?
I'm guessing just the media, really. The blessing of what's being called the official Bible for the new U.S. Space Force at the Washington National Cathedral on Sunday is drawing an outpouring of criticism on social media and condemnation from a prominent religious freedom advocacy group. So, like, people basically, I'm feeling like anyone who's anti-Trump and Christian is just completely like, absolutely like hating this, and like, there's another interesting article that I'm really surprised you didn't bring up.
What was it?
I read this yesterday, and it was the Pope says that you can go to heaven if you don't believe in God,
Interesting.
and he's like targeting atheists for it,
Interesting.
which
Yeah.
is wild. That's so weird to me.
Yeah, dude. You know what? Honestly, I grew up Catholic.
Oh, really? I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
Yeah. I mean,
My boss is
air
Catholic.
quote Catholic.
Mhm.
So it's like I've probably been to church maybe under 10 times in my life. We used to go every year when I was a kid
Yeah.
for like Christmas mass, like Christmas Eve mass.
Mhm.
We would go there at like midnight.
Yeah.
But I just I never really identified with it. I think religion has good merits, and I'm
Yeah.
not against it at all. If people want to believe it, I'm totally cool with it. I think I probably do somewhat believe in something, but I'm interested in the Space Force a lot.
Yeah,
Like
me
I
too.
think it's a very positive thing that we're fucking doing.
Yeah, Space Force is great. I think that's one of the coolest things.
It's a dumb name.
Yeah, it's such a dumb. It sounds like it'd be a movie about dogs that go to space.
Yeah, totally.
Like, like a bunch
Yeah.
of golden retrievers going to space. Space Force. Like,
And Trump was just like, we're gonna call it the Space Force.
he probably, before he was even president, he had that one in his back
Yeah.
pocket, I feel like.
We should have named it something like badass. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like intergalactic.
I could see them having big belts that have Space Force on them.
Yeah.
You know?
The lowest rank in Space Force is astronaut, bro.
Which is amazing. That blows my mind.
yeah,
Because astronaut to me is already like
it's the highest.
It's the highest.
Yeah.
Like there's not much past that. I have a friend who's studying to be an aerospace engineer. And I just think that's so awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Like just like that kind of stuff is so like above my intelligence, I feel like. I feel
Yeah,
like I
mine too.
can't comprehend that kind of stuff because like there's a lot of people that can't understand our worldly physics. So like that's completely like throwing that out the window.
Well, I hope the Space Force starts getting into like all that mind shit and all the psychedelic, like interdimensional shit. I
Dude,
wonder
that'd
if
be
that's
cool.
where it's gonna go. Because
Bro, I totally
we don't know much about it yet.
I totally believe all of that.
I believe it too.
Oh,
100%.
absolutely, dude. I spend a lot of time looking at like those kind of conspiracies and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and it's awesome. There's a UFO Hangar 1. It talks a lot about that.
Is it a website?
No. It's a show on Hulu.
Okay.
and it's so good. There's a lot of stuff like that. I've noticed though here lately, if you get on YouTube and you try to look up conspiracy theories, YouTube is like not letting you find them.
They're cracking down, dude. Well, there was a thing that was fucking passed with the government or the FBI. We're talking about making conspiracy theories illegal, dude.
That's a freedom of speech.
They
That's
need to fuck off, dude. The FBI needs to fuck off. The government needs to fuck off and not tell us what to believe.
Yeah, that's freedom of speech, man.
It's 100% freedom of speech.
Well, that's almost like borderline 1800s. So when John Adams ran against Thomas Jefferson, and that presidential election was raunchy. They were making up false lies about each other, like
fake news.
Like John Adams was like, vote for me because Thomas Jefferson's dead. Like,
oh shit. Okay.
But here's the kicker: when John Adams became president, he tried to make talking shit about the president illegal. So you just couldn't. He tried to do that, dude, and
also something Trump would try and do.
Dude, I feel like that'd be such a troll.
Yeah.
Tweets about me are illegal. Like, you know, if you tweet something wrong about me, it's illegal.
So people were freaking out basically that the Space Force has a Bible.
Yeah.
That's what the whole thing was, that they had a Bible that was blessed by
that was
a religious leader.
Blessed by the Pope, which I don't see an issue with. To me, I am religious. But, I don't know. It's kind of weird. In West Virginia, before like a major surgery is performed, like on the heart or something, usually the surgeon prays.
Yeah.
Which to me is respectable.
Hey man, you know what? If I was having major heart surgery, I would want the surgeon to pray.
Yeah, me too.
Dude,
so I feel like a Bible.
Let's not risk it, man. You know, God might exist or whatever, so might as well try and get him on our side.
So I feel like, you know, it's like a good vibe too. It's like a good omen, or you know.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a good thing. I feel like people should like not freak out about that as much as they. I mean, there's way more things to freak out. Australia's literally on fire, but we care about if there's a Bible on Space Force.
Yeah.
I mean.
Well, there are no atheists in foxholes, as they say. Yeah. What's the next story?
Oh yeah. Let's see. Okay. Oops. Here we go. Neil Peart. Beyond the Gilded Cage. So
he passed away.
He did pass away. It's very sad. I read this article and it's super interesting. I actually read it all. I was very interested in it. He talks about how back in Russia's back in the 80s, how it was unpopular to like them.
To like Rush?
Yeah.
Why?
He said that it was almost like the equivalent of like being in math club, because Rush was for nerds.
I will agree that Rush is for nerds, dude.
Rush is for drum nerds, definitely.
It's definitely
Technical
for
drums.
nerds. It's like jazz music for rock people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Their technical facility, as like the three musicians that were in Rush, which is Geddy Lee, Alex Lifeson, and then Neil Peart. They're music geeks, and they understand theory, and they understand all that stuff. And a lot of their songs, like their lyrics, which were done by Neil mostly, they have like this kind of geeky theatrical quality to them.
Definitely. It talks about in the article too how they were virtuosos. They were all virtuosos.
Definitely.
Like, you know, and it's a sad thing. It's a sad thing to see like true musicians, not the people that we view today as famous.
Yeah.
You know, like a true musician. And I feel like that's one of the best compliments, as being called a true musician.
Yeah.
You know, that's something I strive after.
Absolutely.
You know, not being called famous, you know, Twitter famous, Instagram famous, being called a true musician by somebody who's good means the world. So, and it's sad to see like a real musician die.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
R.I.P.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that are talking about how that day for drummers is like the worst day.
Yeah.
Now, like, yeah. Yeah. It's super sad. I didn't know he wrote a lot of songs.
Yeah.
I didn't know that at all.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never ever seen that before.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I never honestly, I never listened to a lot of Rush.
Neither did I. I used to really honestly kind of hate them.
Really?
But as I've gone through my own musical journey, I've learned to appreciate the things I didn't necessarily understand, because I always thought they were like a geek band,
Yeah.
which they are, but that's okay. Like, they're honestly really fucking good.
Yeah, this is a totally unpopular opinion, but I don't really care. So I used to feel the same way, but like about Led Zeppelin.
Really?
Yeah. But like I respect them. I respect them now. But it was like some bands like that were in the 80s I just couldn't get into as a child.
What do you think it was?
I don't really know. I feel like it might have been the music that I was like not forced to listen to, but listen to a lot. You know, like Hank Williams and like old country and gospel.
Which is more songwritery stuff.
Yeah, more songwritery stuff. More, and for me, rock and roll genre was never like something. I never wanted to be a headbanger. I was all about melodies.
Yeah.
And about song. I was always a singer songwriter type of. And then I got really big into jazz and stuff, listening to it. And then I got really big into blues, which is all, you know, like the blues part of it's still like singer-songwriter stuff, you know, and technical stuff. So it got more into the nerd aspect.
Getting into blues can make you appreciate Led Zeppelin in a different way.
Yeah.
Because they saw themselves as a blues band.
Yeah.
That was their influences.
I've never been into Tool.
I've never been into Tool either, which that's another thing. They're playing at Bonnaroo.
Yeah, they are. Dude,
I think on Friday night.
That's a massive thing.
I can respect Tool.
Yeah, same.
I can respect them, but I've never been a real heavy metal kind of guy.
Me either.
There's some metal I like I like Judas Priest. I can appreciate Metallica.
Yeah.
And their musicianship and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never been big into that.
Dude, honestly, like I mixed a heavy metal band once, and it was so bad for me because mixing something you are basically trying to go after a specific sound, you know, and I don't listen to enough metal music to understand what sound they're looking for.
Yeah.
You know, if they want to sound like Metallica, I'm not going to be able to like make them sound like Metallica.
Sure.
So that was like probably one of the most challenging things I've ever tried to do mixing wise.
Mm-hmm. Can
Yeah.
you pull up the Bonnaroo lineup for this year?
Yeah, sure.
I'm pretty excited for Bonnaroo. I've never been. I know it's a huge deal. Whenever Bonnaroo comes to Tennessee every year, East Nashville pretty much clears out.
Yeah.
There's not many people around. It's like everybody's away at summer camp, and you're the only kid that's still like back home waiting for all your friends to get home from summer camp.
Yeah, it's weird. I can totally see that too. I've not been here during that time, but I can totally see all of East Nashville basically going to Bonnaroo.
Yeah.
You want me to read some of the lineup?
Yeah.
So Tool, Miley Cyrus, Bass Nectar. Do you know who Bass Nectar is?
Yeah, the EDM artist.
Yeah, the 1975. Let's see, Young the Giant, Megan Thee Stallion. I did an event for her.
Really?
Yeah, I did. I didn't get to watch all of it, but I watched some of it. Brittany Howard, which is awesome. Dude, I've always wanted to see her.
I think she lives in Nashville.
Does she?
I think so.
I've never got to see the Alabama Shakes, but, you know, I still would like to see her. So the next day, the 13th, Lizzo.
So that's Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday. Lizzo, Flume, Oysterhead, Tenacious D, Jason Isbell, and the 400 Unit, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard,
Mm-hmm.
The Baby, which he's pretty good.
I think the Growlers are playing on Saturday.
Kevin Gates, which is he's old
Yeah.
now.
And Marcus King Band might be on Saturday too, or it might be like Marcus King solo because he has that new record coming out on
Let's
Friday.
Yeah, the Marcus King Band, the Growlers, Billy Strings. There's a lot of people on here I've never seen,
Yeah.
but I'm sure it's going to be great.
Yeah.
You know,
Sunday, I think, is the day I'm most excited for.
dude. Sunday, are you going?
I'm trying to.
Okay.
I want to go
Yeah.
for the podcast.
Yeah, I
and
would-
hopefully
that would be
cover
awesome.
it.
That would be
Because
awesome.
Sunday is, I know it's Tame Impala. I can't even speak. Tame Impala. So I would love to see them again. They came here
Yeah.
last summer, but they only had 2 songs out. I'm like, I don't want to go see them if they only have 2 new songs out. I want to go when
Yeah.
they have a new record out, a whole new record, because their new record's coming out February 14th. And then Lana Del Rey,
Lana Del Rey.
who's good. I do like her.
That's a guilty pleasure for me, dude. And I'm going to hate saying this on the podcast because I know my mom's going to listen to it, and she hates Lana Del Rey.
Yeah.
But that's like a guilty pleasure for me.
She did an album in Nashville with Dan Auerbach. From the
Yeah, I
Black
know.
Keys.
That's awesome. Vampire Weekend's going to be there.
Vampire Weekend. I have wanted to see them for a long time. They were here also last summer, but I wasn't able to make it out that night. They'll be good to see, and I feel like they're also a good festival band.
Yeah. Leon Bridges, Young Thug, Grace Potter.
Also good.
The Struts. Have you seen the Struts?
No.
Oh, well, they were at the Jack Daniels New Year's thing I was at. And they played, and they're pretty good. There's a lot of, they've opened for like the Beatles and like the Rolling Stones and stuff like that. They're pretty good.
The Beatles or Paul McCartney solo?
The Beatles.
They're that old of a band?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. That's what they said at the event. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, they're an old band. They're old. But they, like, I'm not making fun of them or anything, but they look like they're still in their emo phase, but they're old.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
They definitely have that vibe, but they're really good. The musicianship's great. Oliver Tree, which is like a new artist. I've never heard any of his work, but he's really popular. Morgan Wallen, which is very weird to have him mixed in all of that.
That's the guy who sings Whiskey Glasses?
Yeah. I think it's kind of weird to have Jason Isbell mixed with all those people.
Yeah,
like
I
Lizzo.
I
That's
could see Jason Isbell a little bit more than
Morgan Wallen.
Yeah.
He's a mullet. He's going to be the only guy with a mullet at Bonnaroo.
Nice. You know what? Rock and roll.
Yeah,
Good for
rock
him.
and roll. Yeah, that's all the people that I know.
Bill Frisell is on Sunday night. He's
Yeah.
a great jazz guitarist. He was like a very prominent session player. I think he's originally from Colorado. He played on Nora Jones's big album, the one "Don't Know Why I Didn't Call." That one.
Yeah.
I saw Bill Frisell actually when I was 15 and working at the Maple Room in Lewiston, Maine. That was my first job. He went there to play. He played like 2 sold-out shows.
Wow.
It was just him and his electric guitar. I think he played maybe a Telecaster.
Yeah.
Amazing player. Incredible musician.
So, do you think that Sturgill would do Bonnaroo?
He did Bonnaroo last year.
Did he really?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that's
It was his
awesome.
40th birthday. And Josh Norfleet called it because we've been watching videos basically since he stripped it down to a 4-piece.
Yeah.
It was right after he won the Grammy he did that. He went out on the road, and Josh said he was going to make a rock record. Where
Wow.
he was just soloing.
That's
He's like, I think that's
awesome.
what he's doing next, and he was right.
Dude, that's awesome. I didn't know he did that. I want to see him. I definitely want to see him with Tyler Childers.
They're playing at Bridgestone,
When?
I think in May.
In May? I thought they had already... they played at the Ryman.
Yeah.
They sold out both nights.
Yeah, I saw Sturgill at the Ryman a couple of years ago on the Sailor's Guide to Earth tour. He came out and did one set of all of his previous albums, and then for the second set, he played a Sailor's Guide to Earth front to back with like a full horn section, all that. It was
Oh, wow.
amazing. Honestly, that was probably the best show that I've seen in Nashville because it felt like the whole audience was like,
Yeah.
we're here for Sturgill, and this is our secret, and fuck Music Row, and fuck all the Nashville bullshit. You know, it just felt that way.
Yeah. Dude, I want to see Tyler. I bet Tyler will, after he comes out with a new album, he'll probably, do his own big tour. I
Yeah,
feel like when he has another album under his belt, he'll have, like a successful album, he'll have a big tour.
yeah. I think he did the Ryman, or he's going to do the Ryman a couple nights on his own.
Yeah. And he'll probably sell out.
Yeah.
He's a big guy now.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's nominated for a Grammy.
Which is great for him because he's just so close to where I live.
Yeah.
He's like 10 minutes away from me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just awesome.
Yeah.
It's cool to see somebody from small town, Kentucky. He's from Kentucky. But, just make it big.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome. I want to see Midland for sure. That's definitely on the bucket list.
Yeah.
They're good musicians too.
They're from Texas, right?
I believe so. They met in Arizona though.
Interesting.
The cool thing about them, I think, is the fact that they all songwrite together. All their songs are written together collectively. And I just feel like, I don't know, that's just like true band. You definitely get the vibe from them. And their style is awesome. They're bringing back the steel guitar, which is just so cool to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's wrap this bitch up. Thank you everybody for listening. We will see you soon.